Three players in particular lived in the Denver Broncos backfield when the Seattle Seahawks played last Sunday. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. We are almost to the weekend, almost to more football. It's just around the corner. We're all very excited, but before we get there, we got to do one more item of business. It is Pass Rush Friday. And I'll tell you, this series tends to be very popular early in the season. And by the end of the season, the last few years, the pass rush has been so inept and so bad and so toothless that people lose interest. And it's hard to really blame them, right? Who wants to tune into a 3-minute video where I talk about like 2 players and that's it? Well, I think the videos will be more popular this year because it looks like things are going to go a little bit better in 2024 for pass rush. So I can tell you that in this first game, the Seahawks generated plenty of pass rush. PFF had it, Next Gen Stats had it, a bunch of other sites had it, but PFR is kind of like the end boss, right? PFR is like the end boss because their standard for what constitutes a pressure is higher than these other sites. So in a week where PFF says a player got 7 pressures, you can count on PFR to have like 3. And I like that. I think that there should be a high standard for what genuinely constitutes a pressure. And I think you can kind of use both sets of data in tandem, where PFF constitutes like soft pressure and PFR constitutes hard pressure. So if you use both, you can get a pretty good idea, okay, how much pressure is he getting and what percentage of that pressure is actually genuinely affecting the play in a significant way. So this data comes from PFR, please understand. Let's go ahead and dissect it, starting with one of the studs of the day, Big Cat Leonard Williams. PFR gave him 4 pressures, which is a lot less than PFF gave him. So the truth is maybe somewhere in the middle. Leonard Williams had pressure on one of the Bo Nix interceptions, the Julian Love one. He, in many ways, caused the interception and was very, very hard to handle for that Denver offensive line the whole game. He was constantly making disruptions back there. He never got a sack, but that was a really good game from Big Cat. He was getting held on the long Bo Nix run at the end of that game. He was getting held as well. Probably would have had another pressure on that play. Probably should have gotten credit for a drawn flag. So Big Cat looked dominant. Byron Murphy, 1 QB pressure. I think PFF gave him 2. So Murphy, you look at that game, you look at that tape, he's getting double teamed a lot. Opposing offensive line giving him a lot of credit, treating him with great respect. So I don't expect big numbers from him this year, but I never did, right? I never did. That's his job. That's what he's going to do this year. If you can draw double teams and be an annoyance, you're doing your job. Jarran Reed, nothing, which, I mean, he played plenty of snaps in this game, so it's a little bit troubling that he didn't get anything, but it's one game, and it was a game where we didn't really need him to because so many other players were getting pressure, right? It's worth monitoring, though. I wondered if Jarran Reed is the right fit for this defense, and he may end up not being, but he's in the last year of his deal. Mike Morris got a pressure, which is great because he barely played. So Mike Morris, first full season in the NFL, hopefully this year, off to a good start. Really liking what I see from him. Nothing from Adams or Young, who didn't play, and Hankins did not get 1. I think PFF gave him 1. They might have given him 2, so I didn't mind the way Hankins played. I thought Hankins more or less did his job, but no pressures from PFF, so the subtotal from the defensive line is 6. That's not bad. That's I can take that. I can live with that. I can work with that. Linebackers now. Let's get to the linebackers, and let's leave the linebackers because none of them were credited with the pressure. I think PFF may have given Dodson 1, maybe 2, but PFR did not give any of these guys any pressures. So they were blitzed. They had opportunities, didn't get home. We'll see where it goes as the season goes on. They're definitely going to be heavily involved in pass rush stuff as the year goes on. But nothing this week. Edge rushers. Nwosu does not play, so he gets the goose egg. Boye Mafe does not get the goose egg. I think PFF gave him 7. PFR gives him 4. So that definitely constitutes a game where you lived in the opponent's backfield if PFR is giving you 4. And he also had, I think, 2 tackles for loss. So he was great against the run, great against the pass. He had a sack. I know it was a sack where you push Bo Nix out of bounds, but regardless, he had the quote-unquote sack. And he's off to a great start. And it's not like he's playing against a bum there. Garrett Bowles was in for most of that game, and Garrett Bowles is a very good left tackle. So that was dominant player number 2. Number 3 would be Derek Hall, and I really want to highlight Derek Hall getting 4 pressures in this game, according to PFR, because Derek Hall was in the game about half as much as Boye Mafe, and PFR gave him a full 4 pressures, same as Mafe. So that's even better than I thought. So Derek Hall, really impressive first game for him. He's got a lot to prove this year, but if he plays like that the rest of this year, nobody's going to be saying anything about Derek Hall. Well, no, they'll be saying things about Derek Hall, but they'll be good. We won't have anything to worry about there. So Derek Hall, really good. If he can keep up that kind of efficiency, and I'm not saying he will, and I think he spent at least a good chunk of this game going up against Mike McGlinchey, which is always an easy win against when he's facing pass rush, but Hall's good, man. Draymond didn't get anything on PFF. He did get a few on PFR, though. So, I'm sorry. The other way around. He got a couple on PFF. Didn't get anything on PFR. Same with Trevis Gibson, who played like 2 snaps. So your subtotal from the edge group is 8. Pretty strong. Pretty satisfied with that. And now we just move on to cornerbacks, where we do actually have a pressure to start our season off. Devin Witherspoon. PFF gave him 2. PFR gives him the 1. So we're going to go with the 1 here. But you see the interest in blitzing these corners. Witherspoon had a couple of cracks at the backfield in this game, and he came up big on one of them. And you can see the skill set. You can see the ability. And we played with it last year a little bit, not nearly enough. This year it looks like we're going to be playing with it enough. None of the other cornerbacks had a pressure. I don't know if any of them even blitzed. Half of them didn't play. And then safeties, nothing going there yet. I think there might have been 1 or 2 safety blitzes, but nothing that got home meaningfully. And that gets you to your total of 15. 15 in the first game. You might remember that last week my projection for total number of pressures this season from the Seahawks as a team was 190, which comes out to just over 11 pressures a game. So 15... that is starting ahead of the curve. You are off to a great start at this point. So very excited about this, very happy about this. And if they can keep this up the rest of the way, things will go well. And remember, they're probably not going to keep it up. They're probably going to get better because Nwosu is coming back. And yes, Nwosu is going to eat into some snaps from a guy like a Derek Hall, but isn't he also mostly going to eat into snaps from guys like Draymond Jones and Trevis Gibson? Maybe Draymond Jones gets to go back to playing on the line where he's probably a more effective player anyway. Isn't that all just going to make everything fall into place even better? I would say so. All right, so that's it for Pass Rush Friday. See you guys later today. There will be more videos, of course. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you feel about this pass rush. It looks like it's ready to eat, but they need to be dominant this weekend against New England because that New England offensive line looks, well, it's a problem for them. All right, go Hawks.